Good evening. Good evening, everybody. I see a spinning dial, so let me know if you can hear me. Good evening, everybody. I see a spinning dial. Are you guys there? Just type in the comments with live or hello or whatever else you want to say this Monday evening. Let me know you're here. Facebook continues to plague me with its new video template, and I can't get the Zoom to work that I want. So here we are. I will keep working on all of that. So my goal is just to make sure that these are all recorded for you so that if we lose the group or Facebook, disappears, we have this content somewhere. Anyway, so tonight we are going to be talking about snacking and digestion because that was one of the subjects that you guys wanted to know about when I asked earlier this week. So I want to start by giving just a brief overview of the digestive process that we talked about the last time we talked about digestion being a north to south process, right? So it starts in our brain when we start thinking about food. Certainly if we start smelling about food, if we start smelling food, all of these senses, right, and our minds is where digestion starts. Salivary glands activate. There's some digestive enzymes in there. Hopefully, like we've talked about, you guys are taking a moment to be very conscious about your headspace and your stress levels when you're eating, right? Deep breaths to make that switch between sympathetic nervous system, I'm running from the lion, and parasympathetic nervous system, okay, I can rest and digest properly now. It's probably one of the most critical pieces to the entire process. Right? So now we smell the food, we see the food enters our mouth. God gave us all these lovely teeth for a reason. Hopefully we are now using all of them to chew our food between 15 and 30 times each mouthful, or until the food relatively has the consistency of baby food, just, nice and mushy to help our stomachs out there. Down the esophagus it goes into the stomach, which is highly, highly, highly acidic. Some of those chemical neurological processes that start when digestion starts actually triggers the stomach to up its production of hydrochloric acid. Oh, hi, Mom. Hi, Keith. I know you're listening too. So when we actually follow this process north to south, those chemical neurotransmitters go down to the stomach and say, hey, come on, stomach, let's make some more stomach acid because food is a-comin'. So hopefully we've chewed everything right and it's in our bellies. We're nice and relaxed. And we've helped our stomach out as much as we can before the food gets there. We have nice acidic stomach acid content, and now our stomach can really do the work of breaking that down further into the liquid state it needs to be when it enters our small intestine, and also cleaning the food. That's stomach acid's other job, is to remove any harmful bacteria or anything else that went down when the food went down. And once that process has completed, maybe it takes 2 to 4 hours-ish, sometimes longer, it goes into our small intestine now in a properly broken down, thoroughly digested state, and the small intestine and all those little villi, those little hairs on the small intestine we talked about before, all those little villi are nice and healthy, and they can do their job of separating out what needs to stay in and go on out the large intestine for passage out of the body, and what can safely now be taken up into the bloodstream for nutrient absorption and recirculation throughout the body. That is the way the process is designed to work. That's digestion in its optimal function. We talked a lot in a previous live about some of the ways that digestion can break along the chain, and we're going to continue to talk about some of those things as the weeks go by. So the whole process between when you eat and when nutrients are absorbed or excrement is, sent out the back end, that whole process, the transit time is what we call it, can take between 12 and 36 hours, roughly. So it usually is not like I eat something, a couple or handful of hours later, it comes out the back end. What's coming out the back end is usually what you've eaten like the previous day, unless it comes out really urgently. And sometimes then that is an immediate result of your body going, whoa, we should not have eaten that. Get it out of here. And out it goes. So all those things are possible. But let's talk about snacking in the context of that total transit time of 12 to 36 hours for most people. So there's a theory that's I've heard for most of my life. It's been part of like mainstream health and fitness for a long, long time that says, well, you should eat 5 to 6 small meals a day every few hours to keep your metabolism burning, right? For years and years and years, I subscribed to that philosophy. I'm sure most of us did or do, as the case may be. So that's really kind of the crux of what I want to break down for you guys tonight. It hopefully will already be a little bit clear that if you're eating every 2 to 3 hours, 5 to 6 times a day, but the whole digestive process really takes between 12 and 36 hours to complete, and it takes a minimum of 3 or 4 hours just for your stomach contents to empty, maybe that's not exactly the right way to be eating or fueling yourself, right? So just like any other system in your body, your digestive system needs a chance to rest, right? We've talked a little bit here and there, more in the mindset category, about the importance of sleep and rest. Well, that concept holds true for all of the systems in your body. Your digestive system needs a chance to rest. So if you're feeding it every 3 to 4 hours, except for when you're sleeping, like, it's never turning off. And over time, it's going to lose its sensitivity to some of those signals, both like the signals that create more stomach acid, the signals that release the other enzymes that are needed in the digestive process that we haven't even gone into detail about yet. Like, it's just going to be kind of numb to all of that, as you would be if you did not get regular and sufficient amounts of rest. You as a human being would be a little run down and lethargic and like, you wouldn't function optimally. Well, your digestion will not function optimally either if it doesn't get a chance to complete its entire cycle and rest. Okay? So that's takeaway number one. The kind of as an extension of that, the acid levels in your stomach, like we went into detail about how critically important it is to have sufficient amounts of hydrochloric acid. Well, if you have a constant influx of food, your stomach gets really confused about when do I need to produce acid and how much and what's still in there and what's going on. And remember, we talked about that that Tupperware effect with acid reflux, right? Reflux, I mean. If you have food sitting in your stomach that's partially digested, right? Because you just ate a couple hours ago or however long. Well, it's sitting in there being digested, right? And maybe it's going well, maybe it's not. Maybe it's sitting in there starting to like putrefy and turn rancid because you don't have enough acid for whatever reason. And then you just pile more food on top of it because you're hungry again and you want a snack. Well, you see what I'm saying? Like, that's just, now you're just compounding the problem because you've got partially digested food, new food, and then a few hours later, more new food, and then a few hours later, more new food. Like, it's just, your stomach and the whole system is going to break down over time. You might not feel that effect right away, but trust me, it will happen. And then you're going to have that whole cascade that we talked about when we talked about mindset and digestion, right? Where if your digestion breaks, then your nutrient absorption becomes insufficient, and then what's put back into your bloodstream to feed your brain and all the other functions of your body they're not getting what you need, what your body needs to thrive. So now, like, stress is going to feel more acute. Other symptoms in your body are going to suffer because the whole cycle is broken. So one of the concepts or ideas that people that advocate this snacking every 5 to 6 times a day, these mini meals, one of the things that they say is, oh, well, this is how you keep your metabolism revved up and burning all day long. Yes, it is true that your body expends energy, metabolic energy, when completing or when going through the digestive process. But here's the thing. Your body, it's almost like a one-for-one exchange. Like your body is going to expend the same amount of energy, provided the food is equal. Let's say you're eating 2,000 calories a day. That's a nice even number everybody recognizes. Well, if you take that 2,000 calories in 6 meals spread throughout the day, or 2 meals broken up with a nice, 6 or 8 hour gap in between, your body's going to expend the same amount of energy to digest 2,000 calories worth of food, no matter in what amounts or what time the food comes in, right? I'm talking just about energy expenditure here from a metabolic burn perspective, right? 2,000 calories worth of digestive energy expenditures is 2,000 calories worth of digestive energy expenditures. It doesn't matter the timing. The timing significantly matters with respect to the digestive process I just described, but it's kind of irrelevant with respect to a metabolic burn perspective. I did a little research on this point. I have a couple of studies I can put in the show notes and send out to you guys so you can look at the actual science if you want to. There's a guy named Mark Sisson, pretty active in the holistic medicine space, and he did a great blog post a while back about it, and that's how I found a few of the studies that I am drawing from in this chat today. So happy to share those with you if you want. The other thing that people talk about, or at least think is the right thing to do when it comes to snacking, is, oh, well, I don't like these energy highs and dips that I have. So if I snack all day long, well, then my energy will be constant all day long, and that will be better for me. Whole bunch of people out there, whether they realize it or not, kind of function that way. And I totally empathize with the need to have steady, constant energy throughout the day. But I would ask you to really consider, when you're snacking throughout the day, is your energy really constant throughout the day, or is it still up and down and up and down? And the reason why you're snacking throughout the day is because you can feel it starting to come down versus you're snacking to keep it steady. I bet it's because you can feel the highs and lows still going regardless of the snacking, right? And let's take that one step further. Those lovely little 100-calorie snack packs or sticks of cheese or cups of yogurt or granola bars, or I'll even say protein bars, energy bars, all those bars out there that they make for like quick healthy snacks on the go. How long do those things really keep you satisfied? Think about that and put in the chat, either now, here live, or on the replay, put on the chat, like, how many snack packs or energy bars do you really have to eat at any given time to achieve that steady state energy throughout the day? Because I bet if you're honest with yourself, those things might do you, what, an hour, 45 minutes, maybe less, before you're like, okay, I need some more energy because here comes the roller coaster again, right? So we're going to talk at a later date about blood sugar regulation, that's really what that little energy roller coaster is your body trying to keep your blood sugar at a constant level. But from an energy perspective, from a feeling of satisfaction and satiety with your food, really fat and protein, I think we would all acknowledge if we thought about it for a minute, those are the elements in any snack or meal that are really going to carry you through those hours and take you closer to that constant steady state energy. And let me explain what I mean this way. I'm going to use the analogy of a campfire. Hopefully it's one we can all relate to at least a little bit, right? So if if the fire, the flames of the campfire are your body's energy levels, right? When you're building a campfire or even trying to keep one alive, there's two different kinds of wood that you use. You have the little teeny kindling, right? And that stuff, it lights up real quick and it burns real hot. It's real easy to get flames from a few pieces of kindling, right? But it also goes out pretty quick. And then on the campfire, you have big old logs, like the actual logs that you want to hopefully ignite over the long term so that they burn nice and hot and steady for hours so you can hang out and enjoy your campfire and do whatever it is you're doing, right? And you don't have to keep feeding the campfire all the time with kindling. The kindling is your body's version of sugar, carbohydrates in any form. And there's many different forms of carbohydrates, and all of them on the inside of your body translate to sugar burning. That's it. It does not matter the kind of carbohydrate you consume on the outside. Your body is going to turn it into sugar on the inside. Scientific fact. It does not matter if you're eating a head of broccoli, a baked potato, a candy bar, a banana, blueberries, edamame, kale, beans, like all of that is essentially glucose. It's sugar for your body as soon as it goes into your mouth. Vegetables, carbs, rice, pasta, all of it. Now, yes, there are nutrient differences in those things, and that's not what we're talking about right now. We're talking about fuel, right? From your body's perspective, all those things, vegetables, starches, grains, and candy bars, and fruit, all of that is kindling. If you eat that all day, every day, all you are doing, if you eat that for a meal or if you eat that for a snack, all you're doing is giving your body kindling. Kindling. And it likes it. Woo! Revs you, wakes you right back up, right? But, fast burn, and then, now my campfire's out, and I need some more kindling. And that's the sugar burn roller coaster that we go through from an energy output perspective. Something is going on with my lighting. That's a little bit better. So the logs, the goal is to get to the logs, right? So hopefully we can get to a state in our body's campfire energy burn where the logs are always on, right? We have to put more logs on the fire, but they never go out. But we might need a little kindling to get that started. Most of us have about 1,500 calories of kindling glucose reserves in our body at any given time, unless we go through a conscious effort to reduce that. So if we need a little kindling to get the campfire started every now and again, that's fine. But the goal is to ignite the logs, and the logs are the fat and the protein. So you have to actually consume fat and protein most of the time in order to ignite the logs. Yes, your body has about, for the average 6'1", 180 human being, about 30,000 calories of ready fat reserves. Even in a perfectly physically fit, healthy person, that's how much campfire logs you have at the ready, just waiting to be burned as soon as you give your body the green light to go ahead and burn them, right? There's many different ways to give that green light, and we'll cover that later. But for now, what you need to eat in your meals and in your snacks, if you choose to have them, is preferably a combination of fat and protein. So what does that look like? Ham and cheese roll-ups. Mom, I know you eat those, and those are great. If you can tolerate dairy, ham and cheese roll-ups are wonderful. Maybe some diced up steak or chicken that you made the night before and you just put it in a baggie or a container and took it with you. That would be great. Take some avocado oil mayonnaise with you and eat the two things together, or make some hollandaise sauce and drizzle it over. Even better, that's a great fat source. Straight up avocado or olive oil cold drizzled over the food, also a great fat source. Butter, a great fat source to combine with your protein. Yeah, I was gonna say about the hamburger. Good job. What I do a lot, just I kind of keep this at the ready, is I will make 80-20 ground beef in a pan with a bunch of butter and saute it up. And I actually put 2 egg yolks on the top when I'm done, just raw egg yolks, because just the yolks, because that's the fat. I crack 2 egg yolks into the mixture after I put it in my bowl or container, and I mix it up, and the heat from the ground beef is enough to cook the egg yolk sufficiently for consumption, if you care about that. I don't, but if you do, it is. I can see the yellow cooked egg yolk in my hamburger when I do this. And then some healthy sea salt, and there you go. Like, you need a spoon for that snack or that meal, but it's real fast, it's real efficient, it's real cost effective, and it'll last you. Like, I had probably half a pound of ground beef at like 1:30, 2 o'clock this afternoon, and I'm only just now starting to feel a little hungry. So it'll take you most of the time, if you can combine a real good quality protein and a little bit of fat, healthy animal-based fat, or olive oil or avocado oil, something like that, it'll take you exactly how you want to be, 3 or 4 hours, steady energy, and then you can actually listen for your body's real hunger cues. And that's kind of the last point I want to make. So I'm going to pause here and see if you have any questions so far, and because I need to grab some water before I wrap it up with these last 2 points. Just type in the chat if you have any questions. Okay, no questions, so I will say the bottom line is eat when you're hungry, when you're really hungry, right? Not when you're stressed or tired or emotionally distraught for whatever reason. And look, we've all had those moments, right? Not when you're bored, not when you're watching TV, not when it's a certain time of day and you're kind of pre-programmed to eat at that time. Just try to get to the place where you can listen and hear your body's actual hunger cues. When it's not saying I'm thirsty, or I'm tired, or I'm sad, or I'm angry, or I'm just bored, or whatever, like really when you feel hungry. And I try to wait until I'm like on a scale of 1 to 10, like pushing up towards the 5 range, 5 or 6 range before I eat. I try to be around the like 3 or 4 range of, I'm going to be hungry in a little bit, and then I'll start thinking and looking and preparing my food, whatever it is. So pay attention to your body's actual hunger cues and give yourself a little bit of grace. If you're in one of those situations, you didn't sleep well, you're tired, you're mad, you're sad, you're bored, life is hard in this moment, you might need a little bit more food on those days. So just try to choose the most healthy options available to you that you can. What I would suggest is that you really focus on whole foods, and that is the point I want to make before we close out for tonight. What is a whole food? We hear that, and I'm not talking about Whole Foods, the store, because they actually have a lot of things that are not whole foods. And they're also like Whole Paycheck. That's the funny name for Whole Foods. They're super expensive. But when we say whole foods, what I mean is food that can be found in nature, either in a plant, on a tree, or in the form of an animal or an animal byproduct, right? So another way to say it would be to shop from the outside of the grocery store. Don't go down the aisles, because that's where all the packaged, processed, frozen, fabricated, junk lives. But if you go to the grocery store and just shop the outside, you're going to hit the produce, you're going to hit the fresh meat counter, you're going to hit the dairy counter, and those are really all that you need if you can tolerate dairy. So nothing, when we talk about whole foods, something that can be found in nature or lives in nature is a good way to put that, right? So nothing that, oh, hi, Emily. I see you there now. Yes, snack packs don't keep me full ever either. It's just that little quick kindling hit, right? That's really all they are. Massive marketing ploy, in my opinion. But moving back to whole foods, yes. So if it comes in a bag, a box, or a can, generally that's not a whole food. And I'm not talking about the bags that you actually put the produce in. Somebody did actually ask me that one time. And if it's the freshly frozen vegetables, that's the one exception I will make for the aisles of the grocery store. Like, that's okay. If you want to go to the freezer section and get freshly frozen vegetables, if you eat vegetables, then that's perfectly fine. Sometimes they have freshly frozen, like, not fried and breaded, but just freshly frozen chicken breasts or thighs there too. I would advocate buy the fresh stuff and freezer pack it yourself if you can, because then you know how fresh it is before it's frozen, whereas you don't really have that if you buy directly from the freezer. But whatever you're able to do, I think if you can just stick to whole food choices for your snacks, try to really minimize those snack packs, yogurts, those little glucose hits, kindling hits throughout the day. Focus your meals on just nutrient-dense whole foods. I think you guys will be much happier with what you see in your energy levels staying like this as opposed to like this, to use the little hand signals I've been using all night. Man, maybe the lighting. Sorry about that. Okay, so that's kind of my take on snacks. Let me check my notes and make sure, yep, pretty sure I covered it all. So just in closing, I want to remind all of you guys, you're welcome to invite anybody you like, as long as they're a female, to this Facebook group. The more the merrier. I'm here to help and serve all of you on your way to reclaim your health and vitality. I also do have a Zoom link. I was so close to getting the Zoom to go into the Facebook Live tonight and failed at the last moment. So I will keep working on that, and hopefully it'll work one day soon. And also the other thing I wanted to mention is, keep inviting your friends, share the group as widely as you want. I will let you know when the Zoom is running. So if you have friends that don't Facebook, they should be able to join the Zoom link and then still be here with us, even though we're inside of Facebook, but we'll also be simultaneously in Zoom. So we'll see how that goes. And then also keep giving me ideas. Whenever you have them, you can post them here on this video, or you can send them to me in text, email, direct message, whatever way you want to reach out. I would love to know your thoughts about what do you want me to talk about. So far, I have a few good ideas about where I'm going to go in the coming weeks, so I always welcome your input. We are coming up close on the 30-minute mark, and that's kind of where I like to keep these little chats. So does anybody have any last questions before we close out for the night? I will wait for a moment. Nope. Okay. Well, then that's all she wrote, folks. Thank you for joining me here or for watching the replay, as the case may be. And I will see all you guys in the group in the coming weeks, and then we'll be back here next Monday night. Okay. Bye, folks. Thanks.